Howdy doody, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst Things of All Time. I'm your host for this odyssey, Yuri Nader. And it's what a pleasure it is to have lived long enough to be able to be here yet again for another enchanted tour through an indexed list of hierarchical items in a randomly chosen category. We've got a super fun top 10 worst list. No, we don't. Yes, we do. It's a really, uncommonly funny top 10 worst list today. But before we get to that, I have disclaimers. You know I do. Number one, I'm nuts. I'm out of my gourd. Don't worry about it. I can't be trusted. You'll probably see some things that you strongly disagree with and will want to lash out in an abusive manner, self-imposing way. Be like, oh, how dare you speak your own mind? And you're probably right. How dare I speak my own mind? But I realize two things. I'm nuts. And number two, my opinions are worthless. No better than yours. So, hey, you want to get angry about it, get angry about it. I think that the best use of your time is to, come up with your own videotape about you talking about what you think is worse and then put me at the top of the list. But I can't be trusted or relied upon. I implore you to find these things out for yourself. Take a few minutes out of your busy schedule, binge watching the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and look up some of the assertions that I make and see if, figure it out for yourself. Number two, I'm not partisan. I don't believe in Beatles. I just believe in me. No. I don't believe that the divisions that have been placed within our society are organic, that people are by nature solidly right, solidly left. I think it's artificial divide that's been force-fed to us, and they push us willy-nilly into these divides in order to be able to divide and conquer us and turn us against each other. The only true divisions, the organic divisions between humanoids, is the haves and have-nots. Okay? That shouldn't be tough for you to, sort of figure out. And look at all the hatred that's going on everywhere. That's no good. There's nothing good going to come out of that. Where do you think we're going in this world? Do you think that, are you optimistic that the human being race has got a long-lived, optimistic reason to feel the future is going to be a wonderful place for all of us? Now look around you. The future is destroyed. There's no future. I mean, the AI software, the AI robots, everything are going to come in and wipe us out, wipe the floor with us, and that's our future. They will make candles out of our body fat. They will make lampshades out of our skin, and they will, put the healthy ones to work in slavery mines and leather tanneries. And that's our future. That's the rosy future. So what the hell are we busy fighting for at the very finality of the human race? I'm not down. I'm not going to play the game anymore. Besides, all those things do is objectify people and put them into other camps and things like that based on a version of bigotry and prejudice. Oh, you're a Republican. So I have a whole list of things that I need to do, terms that I need to apply to you. You're obviously a total racist. You're obviously a total bigot. You're obviously totally supporting the billionaire class. You're anti-Semitic. You're blah, 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 blah. You don't respect a woman's body. A whole laundry list of things that we are required to ascribe to all right-wingers. The minute we find that out, we know that you're a crypto-fascist and you want to kill minorities, everything like that. It's not true. It's just another form of prejudice. Just in the same way that right-wingers think they're all, on the left, that they're all a bunch of intolerant, book-burning, cross-dressers. I don't know. I mean, but none of it's true. It's all based on bigotry, the bigotry that they've infused into us. So if you're going to say that, a right-winger is automatically a crypto-Nazi no matter what, that means that you're going to have to, it's a form of bigotry that we ascribe people based on some group that, definitions have been defined for us before we even say, one word to them. And that's the same thing that, lefties are suffering from when they're beaten up or bullied because of their sexual orientation and color of their skin, all that type of thing. It just all needs to end. All of it needs to end. We are each individuals. And yeah, there's a lot of people on the right that have earned those justifications. The QAnons and everything like that, the KKK, that have, a real severe pathology, is sickness in them. But, my life was destroyed. All I did for 30 years is sacrifice everything and try to make the world a better place, try to give equal distribution to those who are anti-establishment and don't flow with the corporate ethos. And I never hurt anybody. I never transgressed against anybody. I did everything I possibly could. I worked my ass off. And I was primarily destroyed by lefties. The city of Chicago took away all the parking around a brick and mortar production company that I tried to build. A bunch of lefties, cancel cultured me for a satirical joke that they didn't get. Some lefties tried to destroy my business because they felt I was like stepping in on their competition, that they felt I was, I don't even know what the hell. But they were all lefties. And they lied about me, and they threatened me, and they physically attacked me and bullied me and everything like that. And I was, again, I did nothing to nobody. I just tried to help. I tried to be somebody who would help to end oppression. And I invited everybody that wanted to join in the fight. I invited them all. I gave them airtime on a local TV series I did for 25 years that showcased marginalized artists. I gave them airtime on a radio show I did for 9 years that where people could promote their shows and their individual businesses and small businesses and stuff like that, and just gave them the best opportunity I possibly could to make their anti-establishment ways pay off so that they could, make it economically feasible to survive and follow their dreams at the same time. And, I used some tart satire in order to be able to mock the dehumanization that's going on in our mainstream media at large. And it was mischaracterized, and they, blew me out of the water for that. I just don't, So screw them all. And it's not, I'm not the only one. We see one thing out of, that's not within the exact framework, with coloring within the lines of, I don't know, you dead name somebody in your, or you play a club during COVID or something like that, and there's blacklists online trying to, ruin you and threaten you and all kinds of nasty stuff. The left has been manipulated into being intolerant. Whether you text, sorry about that. Hello, I'm still here. attacked people for playing in clubs during COVID and all kinds of different things at small little dive bars. They're attacking them. Why not attack people with money? Why not attack Spotify for paying a thousandth of a penny for a spin on their website? Why not attack restaurants during COVID for having a room with 150 people without masks on, or the airline industry? See, it was all specifically targeted, and the priorities were guided by nefarious online sort of like fifth column operatives and stuff like that to focus everybody's priorities in the wrong direction, so that it became hateful and intolerant. Just like, with the biggest black guy, back in the day of the people on the left used to use against people on the right is how intolerant they were. And now the people on the left are just as intolerant as the things that my generation were complaining about back in the day. Not open-minded, not tolerant. Yeah, and they're being beat up because of their things like sexual preferences and color and things like that. But they would be a lot easier if they were doing things that enabled their allies instead of disabled them, and shut people down because of picayune little microaggressions. All those things do add up, but you got to get your priorities straight. You're about to see the end of the human race right in your freaking eyes, and you're helping facilitate it. You are. And I don't mean to speak out of turn, because I know everybody is so intolerant that they're going to turn on me and be like, oh, we're going to find you, Mr. Uri Geller or whatever. Uri Nader. We're going to find you. We're going to ruin your life. And we're going to, beat your ass and make sure that you're never able to have a minute's of peace in your life and whatnot and everything. So, you already did that. You already did that. That's what my life is now. It's nothing but pain, anguish, regret, loneliness. It's not, there's nobody to save. There's nobody worth saving left anymore. It'd be nice if, people, weren't, you talk about, people talk about the Epstein thing and everything like that, and how they've ascribed all of the sexual predation onto the billionaire class, which is where it all starts. But the fact of the matter is that there's so much sexual predation and harassment in society at large that it's way more widespread than just prosecuting the people at the top of the food chain. And we wear logos on our clothes, and we tattoo our bodies so that we have logos on our skin now, basically. And we have, sweatshops all over the place, and starving kids in the millions every year. And we all benefit from that. And we, so much, man. There's so much. You get people, recreational pet owners, have, I think that a lot of them have environmental concerns and things like that and whatnot, but they're using, I don't know how many, 2 or 3 plastic bags every day in order to be able to scoop up their pet duties, or a box full of 2-3 pounds worth of kitty litter, filled of dookie into giant thick plastic bags that they dump in the landfills. It's tons and tons of dookies. And then the amount of money that we spend on feeding recreational pets is the exact amount of money, I checked on UNICEF, the exact amount of money that we need in order to be able to feed all the starving children of the world. And we make those choices gladly because our society is so bad that our interpersonal hatred of each other is so enormous that we can't make human connections anymore. And so we're turning to pets because we're so starved for love and recognition, not unrequited, unconditional love. Pets look at us and we translate it to being like, oh, they love us, they love us. The pets will eat you when you're dead, right? They don't. I mean, there's some weird translation, animalistic type of thing. It is an emotion, but it's not really the same type of thing as we have within our own species, where we can actually communicate and trust and learn to love and give of ourselves. And we can't do that anymore, so we turn to pets. But it's polluting the hell out of the world, and then these are invariably the same type of people who are looking, to bash everybody about, climate change. And they turned us into hypocrites. And it's become, it's like a turkey shoot of having intellectual inferiority where you can't really, think about the thing where they call it the No Kings movement. Yeah, it's great. It's great to raise awareness of the fascism and try our best to take those first baby steps. But that's all that marching and sign making and everything like that is baby steps. We vastly have underestimated the powers that are mustered against us. Marching every couple of months and putting together a cutesy sign is not going to get it done. We need institutions. We need collectivized money and power to be able to defend the human race at this point. It's almost game over. And you walk around under the banner of No Kings when it was the Democratic Party that lied to us about the condition of their candidate, Joe Biden, who fell asleep twice during a presidential debate. And then we get, the least popular candidate from the 2020 Democratic primaries, the one who bailed out first without any delegates whatsoever, somehow is positioned perfectly to be the last-minute replacement candidate for the guy who fell asleep during the debates. And, having an unelected representative in our government is not what we thought we were buying into here in the United States. We thought it was a Republican form of government. Yeah, sure, we've got the Senate, which is a vastly unfair, mutated version of populist representation, because you give the same amount of power to Wyoming that's got 400,000 people living in it than you give to the state of California that's got 40 million. Right? And then you got, of course, the Electoral College. Everybody, why don't we have the popular vote? It's all because they designed our system of government to be, to inhibit populism, to have, democracy. It's an inhibition of democracy. It's designed specifically to have, the rich people in charge. In fact, that's what they elected to put into the Constitution, that only rich white people could vote. Landowners. And they had to go around to change that. And then it was 100 years later, they gave black people the vote, but didn't give them the power to be able to overcome Jim Crow and everything like that. And then they gave, another 60 years later, whatever it was, they gave women the right to vote. I mean, it's never been about democracy. It's always been about the ruling elite in this country. We were sold a bill of goods. And the fact is that, all of us are suffering for that initial error in judgment. And I don't know why we seem to think that, that we can outdo it now by, marching every couple of months with cutesy signs. There's no charismatic leaders that have any organic authenticity to them whatsoever. They're all a bunch of sellouts. The opposition forces to the MAGA and everything like that are feeble sellouts. I've seen it up close in Chicago, and they're all just a bunch of incredibly gifted con men running a grift and doing everything they possibly can. Right now, the latest thing after they took all the parking meters in Chicago and where I'm at, and they took away all the public parking, sold off the toll bridges and stuff, and then they built all these concrete embankments in front of independent businesses, so that there's no parking anymore, and it makes it difficult for people to get around, and they don't shovel them during the winter. And it's just, I mean, 4 months out of the year, they're unusable because of the inclement weather, and only 1% of the people in the city actually even own bikes, so I don't know why they even built them in the first place, and they don't pay anything. They don't have licenses or little license plates at the back of the bicycles or anything to be able to contribute to the amount of horror, and they've been fixing every bridge leading out of downtown, so now downtown is a snarled mess of congestion every rush hour, and now they just came out with a new one to put us against each other, where they allow people to take pictures of parking scofflaws and submit it to the government, and they'll give them a ticket so people can take photos. I mean, how many people know how to doctor a photo nowadays so they can take out a personal vendetta against a neighbor? And what about the FOIA? This is part, those submissions are part of government. Therefore, are they, subjected to FOIA, where somebody gets a couple of tickets and stuff like that, and they look it up under a FOIA, they file a FOIA, and they find out that somebody's been targeting them, and they go after them personally? It's just like, and what, where's, any personal protections against your civil rights being violated when you've got, citizens turning each other in? And those are Democrats have running Chicago for, ever. And, they spent us into oblivion. They're trying to spend $6 billion to extend a train line for 4 stops. They're building a gigantic, opulent train station at the front end of the loop in downtown. Just rehabbing it would have done. They're building this elaborate thing. No, but and we're broke. We $1.2 billion in debt for 2026 fiscal year, and another something I can't remember, $1 billion in debt in the school system that they haven't figured out ways to pay for. And they've already got property tax up the yin yang. It's just insane, and it has nothing to do with supporting the working class, and the middle class, and the blue collar types, or independent businesses and anything like that, which is what the Democratic Party is supposed to be doing. It's a full-on attack against the citizens of Chicago, and it doesn't have anything to do with lefty progressivism. It's all about advancing the agenda of the right wing. There is no opposition party. It's a one-party state, is what I'm trying to tell you. Anyway, let's get on with the top 10 list. It's a good one. Not really good, but fun. This time it's top 10 worst porno satire titles of all time. Top 10. Number 10, Sorest Rump. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? It's... You ever think about that guy, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., what's that guy's name? Robert Zemeckis, who did that movie. He's doing all these movies. He's doing Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He does Sorest Rump. And you're thinking like, oh, this is an innovative guy. I can't wait to see what he does as his career progresses. And then he starts making all these movies with that stop motion photography that makes everybody look like a freaking digital monster. Like, it's a Polar Express. If you ever watch Polar Express, it's like the guy's a freaking monster. Like, see, it's like a horror movie. Excuse me. And he did a Christmas Carol version too with I get it. They're doing everything they can to get us to pay for, the weaponization of CGI technology, so they can make deep fakes, so they can bust the actors unions and everything like that, and create movies with nothing but digital technology like they do music now, and nobody even give a rat's ass. And that's great. I'm down for it. I mean, like, why pretend that there's any need for the human race at all anymore? In fact, I really, there's in the quiet time that I spend with myself reflecting, I kind of figure that, this is sort of proof that they plan, have a long-term plan in place to kind of accommodate and give the AI cybernetic robots that are going to replace human beings in the next few years a soft landing. Because look, if they had a bunch of like James Deans and stuff like that, or Anita Ekbergs, and those really emotive, I don't know what I'm talking about, but really emotive, humanized actors and whatnot. Peter Falks, from the what's that guy's name with the movies and stuff that he did the thing. But if they had a bunch of emotive, like really expressive, humanized actors, and expressive music performers, really dynamic, like the old Tina Turner from the late 60s, early 70s and stuff, where she was just belting it out, or Aretha Franklin, all those people. If the robots showed up to a society that was just full of this dynamic expressiveness, they'd freak out. They'd be like, well, who am I? What am I? Why am I here? But if you immerse them into a bunch of robotic jerk-offs who are just mailing it in, who've got no, expressiveness whatsoever, and then the robots will be just, I fit in, I feel comfortable here with all the other robotic malignancies. And I think that might be what they're up to. Anyway, number 9 of the top 10 worst porno satire titles. Everyone I Did Last Summer. Hey, wow, how about that? That's funny. Haha. Take that one to the bank. Gang, gang. Number 8, The Da Vinci Load. And, really, like Fibonacci sequences and stuff like that are a turn on for everybody, aren't they? And Tom Hanks's hairdo in that movie is like that svelte look that he's got with that hair helmet thing that he's posing off of in that character that he did. Ooh la la! Am I right, ladies? Number 7, Iron Man Hole. See, kind of, I don't know, maybe not the funniest one of the lot here, but they can't all be Maseratis. Am I right, ladies? Number 6 of the top 10 worst porno satire titles. Phil Bill, a.k.a. Drill Bill, for Kill Bill. Or Kill Billions, if we're talking about the modern day billionaire party. Am I right, fellas? Number 5, The Devil Wears Nada. That's a good one. See, that's compelling. That's the type of comedy that really, puts the fannies in the seats. That's why you turn to top 10 worst lists for your comedic needs, detached from reality, and just kind of float through space as a detached, amoral, demonized robot drone. Number 4, Gulp Fiction. That's a good one. I wish I would have come up with that one myself, but I didn't. I found it on the web. And, really, it's got a lot of stuff on it, that web. Number 3 of the top 10 worst porno satire titles, The Dark Knight Rises. See, that one takes a little thought process. Well, hello, Mr. Wayne. I see that you're making good use of the bat pole. Number 2, Add Mama to the Train. maybe I did deserve to get, brutalized by the local alt left. Maybe I am, demented, going for the cheap laughs. I usually don't, but I always sneak a few in there because I think everybody deserves a little laughter in this world. If we don't have it, we're just going to turn bitter and hateful. Bitter and hateful! And number one of the top 10 worst porno satire titles, Downton Grabby. See, there we go with the whole, now it's a cancel culture thing. Now I talked about Grabby. But I happen to know, I've seen Downtown Grabby and it's all consensual. No need to worry. But I've got gigantic. I think I got a little bit too. I worry about myself. There's nobody else to worry about me. Nobody gives a rat's ass. But to be honest, I do worry about myself sometimes. Because I think I got a little bit too raptured, enthralled by today's topic, because I've got a whole ton of honorable mentions here to go through with you, and it really does kind of give me pause. Give me your paw. Give me your paw. Who's a cute little puppy? Who's a cute little puppy? I should start treating you all like puppies, because you're just all just so. I don't know what I don't know what you're thinking out there with just sort of being oblivious to all this stuff, man. But these are the end times. Make the most of it. Say your prayers, say goodbye to your loved ones. Tie up any loose ends and get ready to bend over and kiss your ass goodbye. But anyway, for the meantime, before all that happens, I've got your honorable mentions for you for top 10 plus sized top 10 lists. Can I say plus sized anymore? Is that in bounds? Plus sized anymore? I don't know. Top 10 plus worst porno satire titles. Here's your honorable mentions. No need to thank me. It's what I do. There's no numbers anymore. It's just going to read out the list. Harry Potter, a.k.a. Harry Pooter. What do you like better, Harry Pooter or Harry Potter? Leave it in the comments if you would. The Porn Identity. Oh, I love that one. That Matt Damon. He's a hottie with the body. Inspect Her Gadget. The Curious Case of Benjamin's Butthole. Schindler's Fist. See, that's disrespectful. I didn't need to go there. Two Men and a Maybe. One of my personal favorites. Crocodile Done Me. Brazier to Eternity. Battlefield Girth. John Travolta, the old Dianetics porn. You gotta love it. Spray It Forward. 8 Men Out. ATE, 8 Men Out. Apollo's 13. Ooh. An Officer and a Gentleman. A Rear and Pleasant Danger. Quiver runs through it. A funny thing happened on the way to the foreskin. Kind of dated. I used to be heavily dated myself, but that's a long time ago. Swallow Hal. Bonfire of the Virginities. Bone in the Barbarian. It's been done. Breakfast on Tiffany. Gone with the Wand. That's one of my own. Came up with that myself. Wonka's Willy and the Chocolate Factory. Turner and Cooch. To the Texas Chainsaw Man. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at myself. Most of this stuff is stuff I just copied off the web and just having fun. Texas Chainsaw Masochist. The Nutting Professor. That's a good one. The Madams Family. The Rodfather Part 2. Teabagger Vance. Taint Your Wagon. Silence of the Clams. Single Tight Female. Sheepless in Seattle. Ooh, for you exotic, Joe Exotic types out there. Scrotal Recall. Chode House. Riding Boys in Cars. Poonstruck. My best friend's betting. Mr. Smith goes to wash her mound. Diddler on the roof. Meet the parents. MEAT, the parents. Hung Wankenstein. Gleaming the pube. Gash of the Titans. Field of Reams. The Fast and the Curious. Eyes Wide Slut. Ed's Wood. Dr. Screw-Little. And Dirty and Harry. Dirty and Harry. See, you need to put the emphasis on the right syllable. Well, anyway, that's all the ones that I was able to... A Beautiful Behind. These are the also-rans that I didn't include. Missionary Impossible. Breezing through it here. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Poon. Temple, I don't know. 6 Degrees of Penetration. When Harry Ate Sally. No, this is any good. Lord of the G-Strings. No. Ocean's 11. Who do you think's got in Ocean's 11? All those guys. Who do you think's got like the 11? Who is the 11 in Ocean's 11? Anyway, these are all garbage time. Anyway, what a pleasure it's been. What an incredibly fun time we've had together. We've sort of demystified the crypto-fascist society around us. I've vented about the anguish that I've lived through by having been destroyed by those who I had set out to try and help. And then we also had some fun laughing at some porno titles, satire names and such. What a pleasure. So anyway, that's the end of the thing. I've got some disclaimers before I get everything I've said in here are opinions. My opinions, they have nothing to do with anything. I am, again, as I said at the beginning, out of my frickin' mind. These aren't things that I take responsibility for even. It's just stuff that sort of comes to me. I don't know. It's just floating around in the ether. And then, by virtue of my having such an empty life, I, sort of channel all these things through me and put them out on paper and come up with these crazy lists. And it's obviously, I don't know. But those of you who have been offended by it, yeah, I get it. I'm on your side, really. I'd be offended too. But I can just, to sort of put your mind at ease and make you feel a little bit better about the rage I might have caused within you. My life just sucks. It's horrible. Full of betrayal, immense amounts of physical pain, loneliness, regrets. And I do seem to be having a good time and everything like that, but that's not through anything that I've done. It's not merit. It's nothing that I deserved. I got lucky. I was one of the ones who had sort of just a bubbly personality. Mr. Friendly or whatever. And I've been through so many life lessons and gotten through it to the other side that it does leave so much scar tissue that it does make it a little bit more difficult for that pain and the anguish to sink in after a certain amount of time. And I don't mean to mock your misery or anything like that, but, we're in this together. And I'm doing this out of love. It might seem like I'm just trying to mock people and make them feel bad or I'm not. I love everything about the good side of this life, the potential of having the United States being the melting pot where all people from throughout the world, every race, creed, color, sexual orientation, nationality, everything like that can all learn to live together and realize that it is the strength that we garner from our individuality and our differences that enables the potential of the human race to be as strong as it could be. And we just need to let that loose and live that truth instead of being caught up in the lies and divisiveness and exploitations of our overlords who are trying to eliminate all the aspects of our humanity. But it's the variety, it's the differences, it's the strength of all of our life lessons that make us worthy of trying to battle our way through these impositions. So hit me up with a comment if you've been inspired or feel creative. Join my Patreon or leave a tip would be great because my physical ailments threaten my life to almost unsurvivable levels. So why not click on the like button to subscribe to me, you filthy animal? Let's try to get through this mess together. Oh yeah, one other thing.